I talked yesterday about when I shook hands with the angel of death. Kevorkian, an angel of mercy, like Nurse Ratched. Yeah, I have only fine things to say about the men. It's just a little joke. And how he died. It sounds like a joke. It is. It is what it is, put it that way. I don't need to explain all the way around it. But, I've got a history of touching things and them dying. Robin Williams there, I shook his hand and he killed himself. I guess the only one we're waiting on is Steve Martin. And his time's coming. Everything I've been part of, it's been the last part. Phil Fisk last semester at that college. Larry Haraney, Dr. Larry Haraney, last semester at that college. All these people that, anytime I liked a professor, it was the last semester there for him. It was like I was the last in line. Bit too hardcore for most people, I suppose they are. But last Chief Squire of Circle 1713, sponsored by the Knights of Columbus out of Gaylord, Michigan, 49735. The Columbian Squires, Chief Squire. On the state committee the year before for recruiting, and I never got one single person, never even tried. What am I supposed to do, go to St. Mary's? They're not coming over. It's their group and they don't want anything to do with it. I like the trips we took. But I ran that into the ground. Here's the hard part. I think every woman that's ever loved me, I think about those that might have loved me, you know. Every woman that's ever loved me has gotten brain cancer. Victoria's in the other room listening to this going, what the fuck? But it's okay. I'm certain it's okay for Victoria. I think these other girls needed my love so much is that they drained their fucking mind, their emotional place, you know, the one pituitary gland, the one just was screaming fucking, ah. They've gotten brain tumors, and they're draining themselves so much just to get a sip of the love that I have to offer. And I never had any at all. Sorry. I loved my mother, but I'm a dark person. We've all got it in us, and I'm pretty close to just walking through dark nights and through some, well, I do that. Oh, like walking through West Sacramento from the La Quinta to go to find a bar, and they say, don't go through that place at night. And I said, what? And I walked through there. Yeah, I guess I do that too. Pulling a knife people fucking following you and they disappear. Whole story about that, no time for this. We're talking about the idea that Victoria has no problem. She's not gonna get the brain cancer because evidently I'd just been psychic vampiring these people to death without even knowing it. But she doesn't have to drain herself to receive my love because I just love her so much. So it's not like she needs to hurt herself to have something that is there free and clear. So she'll be all right. But as it turns out, it goes further than that. Animals I touch, they die. There was once this bird when I was in Iraq. It came up and it landed on I got my old book. I've got two of them. The other one's got the better pictures. There's one of them in there at least. But this bird came flying up and landed on a camel netting. We had to have camel netting in the desert. It was just ridiculous. When the French Foreign Legion that we spearheaded when we went in with them, they're just sitting around with their trucks out in the open. Like, you think these people are really that sophisticated? And here we are putting camel nets up. But yeah, there it was. This bird flew up and landed on the camel net in the night. And it had this, look at its beak. It's got big beak and it had waterfowl claws, you know, like a crane or something would be walking around. And it came and it landed on the damn camel netting. And we were like, what the fuck? And I said, huh. And it's just sitting there. It was like a water bird out there in the middle of the desert. All the oil wells were burning. I guess it had to go somewhere. And I landed there. And I was just sitting there. And I said, huh. And I got up. And I walked over to it. And I pet it. I was like, oh. And it just looked at me and said, oh. And I said, yeah. It didn't look like it really trusted me. But it was just like, ah. And I said, wow, that's pretty neat. Went to sleep. Got up in the morning and the bird was laying there dead. Why didn't I get a picture of it dead? Huh, it was just laying there dead. I said, ooh, what did I do? Ha ha ha, joke, 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 you know. Then there was another time when I was at San Jose State living with Philip Reyes and Pete. We were going out to the bar and there was this black squirrel. It was just sitting in the lawn. And we said, look at that squirrel. And I said, I'm gonna go pet it. And I walked over and I said, oh. And I pet it. And it just sat there and looked at me the same way. And I said, okay. And I left. We went to the bar. We came back. Next morning, went out in the yard. And the head and the tail of the squirrel are there. Something fucking hit it in the night. I brought death to you. I fed upon you in my sleep. And so I took hammer and nail and I put the tail up on the post supporting the porch area. And then I went to the other post over there and I took the head and I opened it and I put the nail through its mouth and out the back of its neck and I say tack 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 tack. So that was going just sitting there. And so when people would come over, there was this one guy's girlfriend came over and she walks up, oh, look at the beautiful squirrel tail. She's like, oh, and she's petting it. I said, the rest of it's over there. And she looked over and said, ah, well, what's the difference, you know? A squirrel tail, squirrel head. Ah, it was there when we left. I don't know if it's still up there or not. But other things, break everything I touch. Don't let me touch you the wrong way. You might not survive.